A lot of new drummers really concern themselves pretty heavily with rudiments. Whether they're playing enough of them, whether they know enough of them, whether they need to go out and get a marching band book and learn a bunch of them, and how to incorporate them on the drum kit. Well, let's be honest. Rudiments are pretty cool, but their primary function most of the time is to get you warmed up on the practice pad. Truth be told, if you're playing any fills at all, you're already doing at least a couple of rudiments on your drum kit. Single stroke roll, that's a rudiment. The best rock and roll rudiment of all time, flam, that's a rudiment too. You might even be playing a couple songs where you work in some double stroke rolls, even if they're just kind of diddles in the middle of a fill. But those are still rudiments. And I'm going to bring you through two spots in the Fuzz Huzzy set where I use two different traditional drumming rudiments as fills in our songs. Now the first one is in the song The River Runs Red, which is the lead-off song off the Revival album. I didn't play on this album. Great dude named Pete Abdu played on this record, or Boston Pete as we call him. And he didn't actually do this fill, but I thought it would just be a really good spot to put in here, and it sounded cool with the track. It's got this kind of funky bass line, and I wanted to incorporate something that had just a little bit of flash just for one measure. Let's check out the groove, and then I'll show you how I do the fill. So that's a pretty cool groove and definitely lends itself to a little bit of character. So this is how I incorporate the paradiddle. I'll play it for you up to speed and then we'll break it down. So we're just coming out of the first chorus, we do a little re-intro and we're dropping down into the second verse and it goes something like this. So all we're doing is having the first right hand stroke hit this trash crash with the ching ring on it with the kick drum. Then we hit the snare with our left hand. Then we do our right hand double stroke on the hi-hat. And then we do a snare drum. And then we do a splash cymbal for our next right hand stroke. So all together, really slow, the fill sounds like this. Again. Speed it up a little bit. Now, of course, I could just do single strokes around the kit. It's just 16th notes after all, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And that would be totally fine, but it's predictable. I wanted to do something that was a little bit outside the box. If you like these little drum lessons, go ahead and leave it in the comments that you'd like me to do more of these videos. I'm always a little insecure about teaching other people. So if you want to continue to watch some of these, just leave it in the comment and maybe a couple of good subject ideas. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing and you want a little bit more of it. The second thing comes in the song Release Me, which is off the same album, Revival, played by Pete Abdu. And I believe he does something like this in the song. I haven't figured out exactly what he does, but I think this sounds really cool. And it's just a double paradiddle. So all you're doing is you're adding a right-left before your paradiddle. So it's right-left, right-left, right-right, like that. And you play it as a 16th note triplet figure. So right-left, right-left, right-right, and then left-right, left-right, left-left. So it's just a paradiddle with a right-left in front of your right-hand lead and a left-right in front of your left-hand lead on that particular rudiment. And I'll just demonstrate what a double paradiddle is on the snare drum so you can hear it and see how the sticking goes. So pretty easy all in all. There's not really all that much to it. But in this song, Release Me, it's in straight time, but in the middle of each of the choruses, there's like a 16th note triplet fill. And mostly it's just your kind of single stroke triplets like this. And that's really exciting and fun, but there is a point where the song is really coming to a climax, the big dynamic peak, fortissimo, isimo, isumo, isimo. And Pete on the original record does a little bit of a different fill, and it sounds to me like he's kind of living in that double paradiddle territory. So again, I'm just doing that rudiment as a 16th note triplet figure and moving my right hand around for each stroke, and then the last two strokes, I'm moving my left hand around. So it's going to go like this. So in the groove, rather than just having that very da 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 across the toms, single stroke kind of feel, it sounds way more complicated and flashy than it really is. So it's going to sound like this inside the groove. Let's break it down super slow one more time so you can really understand how this works. It's a double paradiddle 16th note triplet. Let's check it out. Maybe, yeah, your rudiments are mostly intended for pad work and getting good warm-ups and developing good dexterity in both your hands and enabling you to have a method to strengthen your weak hand and all that. But that doesn't mean you have to leave them on the practice pad. And it also doesn't mean that you really have to think about how to incorporate a specific rudiment into a drum fill. You can incorporate these in a ton of different ways, but the key is don't spend too much time worrying about it. It's one of those things that I jump into if when I'm already playing, maybe I like the subdivision, but I just don't like the texture of it. And I'll say, hey, I wonder if I can think of a cool rudiment to do here. Which rudiments are generally done in this subdivision, and how can I move them around the kit so it sounds a little bit different and gives a different feel, and maybe even makes me sound a little bit cooler, right? I mean, because that's part of being cool. So I hope this helps you on your journey and takes some of the pressure and the mystery off these sticking rudiments. I'm Corey Wilkins. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment with some other video ideas that you might want to see all about drums and drumming.